Imagine a predator cub fast enough to outrun security drones, strong enough to tear through armored plating, launching itself at a human's legs. Every alien watching expected blood, panic, maybe a station-wide lockdown, but the human, she smiled. She caught that airborne ball of claws mid-flight, spun like she was dancing with it, and burst into laughter that echoed through the containment wing. And in that impossible moment, every species in the room realized something terrifying and a little awe-inspiring. Humans don't just survive danger, they befriend it. If you love hfyStories where humans break every rule the galaxy thought it understood, go ahead and hit like. And if you want more wild moments like this one, consider subscribing and sharing this video with someone who enjoys a good humans are terrifyingly wholesome moment. Now, let's break this story down. No one on the Caxian expected the containment wing to become the center of an interstellar panic attack. One flicker, just a tiny, almost harmless glitch in the energy field, and the juvenile Caxian huntling seized its chance. The creature moved like a living thunderbolt, all claws, muscle, and instinct sharpened by a death world that had never heard of mercy. Everyone watching the footage later would agree on one thing: any other species would have died instantly. Even the ambassador reviewing the recording could feel his mandibles tightening as the cub launched itself at the human cadet's legs with lethal precision. But Meera? She didn't freeze, she didn't scream, she didn't even blink. In a blur that would baffle xenobiologists for months, she pivoted on her heel, caught the snarling cub in midair, and somehow turned the entire attack into something that looked suspiciously like a playful twirl, and then she laughed. Not a terrified laugh, not a panicked, I'm about to die laugh. A warm, delighted human laugh. Gotcha, she said, like she'd just intercepted an excited puppy instead of a creature with a 97% kill rate. That moment, that single impossible moment, sent shockwaves all the way to the Galactic Council. By the time the alarms finished shrieking through the corridor, the emergency team had already imagined the worst: blood on the walls, shredded uniforms, a huntling crouched protectively over its kill. Weapons were raised, shields were activated, protocols were ready to lock down half the station if needed. But the moment the security doors slid open, every guard froze. There was no carnage, no screams, no human corpse. Instead, Meera sat cross-legged on the polished floor, relaxed as if she were enjoying a quiet afternoon break. And sprawled across her lap, purring, of all things, was the same apex predator that had nearly triggered a station-wide evacuation minutes ago. The cub wasn't snarling, wasn't biting, wasn't trying to reclaim dominance. He was melting. Completely, shamelessly melting under the gentle scratching Meera gave behind his auditory ridges. He just wanted attention, she said casually, as if explaining a minor inconvenience. Look at him. He's basically a puppy. Pup? One of the Xanthari officers whispered, struggling to process the human term. Meera wiggled her fingers near the cub's snout. He playfully batted at them with retracted claws retracted. Every security officer exchanged the same expression. This human has a death wish, but the cub? He looked at Meera as if she had rewritten his entire understanding of the universe. In the days that followed, the council reviewed the footage again and again, each replay deepening their confusion. Caxian huntlings were notorious across 12 systems: solitary, territorial, and utterly incapable of bonding with anything that didn't share their DNA. Even adult Caxians barely tolerated each other. A juvenile forming an attachment, impossible. And yet, it had happened. From the moment Meera caught him midair, the cub, now officially designated Rex, refused to leave her side. When station staff attempted to move him back to containment, Rex planted his claws into the floor, growling so fiercely that 3 guards backed into a wall. When Meera appeared, he stopped instantly and trotted toward her with a chirp that no xenobiologist could classify. The council tried observing them discreetly. Cameras showed the same unbelievable pattern. Rex followed Meera everywhere, through engineering decks, through training halls, even into the common lounge, where he curled at her feet like a giant, deadly house cat. Separated, he wouldn't eat. Together, he was calm, focused, obedient. This is unprecedented, one council member muttered during a briefing. Incorrect, another corrected softly. This is human, because against every law of biology, instinct, and probability, Meera hadn't tamed Rex. She had been chosen by him. By week 3, Council had stopped asking what happened and started asking the far more unsettling question, how do humans do this? Ambassador Velrith presented evidence with a tone halfway between awe and disbelief. He displayed historical images from Earth-tiny human children sleeping beside wolves, early settlers riding beasts that once hunted them, entire civilizations built with the help of animals whose instincts screamed predator. Humans didn't just survive death worlds. They befriended them, they shaped them. They made alliances with creatures evolution designed to be enemies. And now, the same strange power was unfolding aboard the Caxian. Rexborn to hunt anything that moved had begun mimicking human social cues. When Meera smiled, he chirped. When she praised him, he straightened with pride. When she set boundaries, he listened. Alien biologists ran tests, expecting chemical anomalies or psychic interference. Instead, they found something far simpler, yet infinitely more baffling. Rex wasn't domesticated, he wasn't brainwashed, he wasn't manipulated. He was learning, voluntarily. Under Meera's guidance, he completed obstacle courses, participated in scent-tracking drills, and even returned stolen equipment to engineering crews sometimes with a smug little rumble of pride. It's not magic, one researcher whispered. It's just humans. By the time the Council convened for its final review, the situation had shifted from contained incident to galactic anomaly. Every species on the station had witnessed the transformation. The once feral huntling now trotted through the halls with the confidence of a trained companion animal and the unwavering loyalty of a creature who had chosen his person. Rex no longer growled at strangers. He sniffed them politely. He watched children with curious eyes instead of predatory hunger. And when Meera trained him, he followed commands with the eagerness of a creature discovering a world larger and kinder than instinct ever promised him. The Council observed from the upper deck as Meera guided Rex through a new exercise. He climbed, leapt, balanced, and paused only to glance back at her, waiting for approval. She smiled, called out praise, and the cub's tail flicked in unmistakable joy. "Look at him," Ambassador Velrith whispered. "A creature that should fear nothing. Looks at her the way we look at hope." That was the moment they understood. If humans could bond with a Caxian huntling, a species labeled unapproachable for decades, then diplomacy with previously impossible civilizations might no longer be a fantasy. Rex wasn't just a cub. Meera wasn't just a cadet. Together, they were proof that humans changed the galaxy simply by caring.